Pleasant good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to another chapter of Time of the End. And he said unto Daniel, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed until the time of the end. He said, Shut up the words and seal the book till the time of the end. And so we've come to another day of the time of the end. And we're looking at the conclusion of Esau. Who is Esau and what the end entails and how does it apply and relates to us today. So we're coming to the conclusion of Esau. Now we must understand every account has a beginning, there's a journey or a body, and then there's an end. So we're looking beginning to end, because to understand the end we must understand the beginning, how it all started and what took place. And so we're going to look at Esau. But let us go quickly to the beginning that we might understand what took place and what is yet to come at the end. Genesis chapter 17, verse 19. God declares Abraham's seed. He gave Abraham a promise. And he said to Abraham, his seed after him I would bless, and I would make an everlasting covenant with his seed. And notice whenever God speaks, and you would always see the word seed meaning singular. So he said that he would make an everlasting covenant with the seed of Abraham. And Genesis chapter 21, verse 12, he points out clearly that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And he said that even before Isaac was born. And that's the way God functions. He always tells you what is yet to come to pass before it happens. That when you see it come to pass, you would know that it is true and it is the work of the true and living God. So he said, in Isaac shall my seed be called. So if the seed of God is called in Isaac, then the question arises, who came out of Isaac? And we know that Isaac had two sons, Esau and Jacob, and they were twins. And they fought in their mother's womb. And the angel of the Lord said unto them, these two children in the womb fight constantly. These are two very different nations that is coming out of thee. And he said unto them that the elder shall serve the younger, and the younger shall be greater than the elder. And as the word was spoken, so was it. And these two children grew. They were very different. They grew, and we know Esau became a hunter, while Jacob was a very clever, brilliant guy at home doing his stuff and things. But there came a day when Esau eventually sold his birthright as his blessing as the firstborn to Jacob. And so God was angry with Esau and displeased because he despised the birthright. And he gave him a name, Edom, which means despiser. And Esau despised also his brother and hated his brother because of the father's blessing upon him. And so Esau was angry. He said, as soon as my father dies, I would destroy Jacob. And I would take and claim his blessing, the blessing of the father, which he felt belonged to him. But the angel of the Lord, even before they were born, says that the elder shall serve the younger. So God's words must come to pass. And so we must understand and look at things from the perspective of the word of God. Because no man can stop or change the word of God. Some of us see the beginning, but we do not know the ending. The word declares the beginning and the ending. And so these children, as I said, grew. Their names were changed. So Esau was changed from Esau to Edom, while Jacob's name, as he pursued a relationship with God, God changed the name of Jacob to Israel. And we know that Jacob had 12 sons, and they became the 12 tribes of Israel that we know today to be the nation of Israel. These are the 12 sons, the seed that came out of Jacob. And just as God promised Abraham, he promised Isaac concerning his seed, and he promised Jacob because Jacob was the seed of Isaac. God said that to him in Genesis chapter 21. So there is no dispute and there is no uncertainty. It is very clear in the Word of God. When we want to know the truth of these things, we must go to the Word of God. And so God changed his name to Israel, meaning a prince that had power with God and with man, and that he prevails. So that's why whenever Israel would fight a war, they tend to prevail. In Malachi chapter 1, to bring more clarity to this, God said, Jacob I love, but Esau I hated. And he said the borders of Esau would be known as the borders of wickedness. That is the border of Edom, the Edomite, the despisers, one who despised the covenant of God, despised the Father's blessing, and who fights Jacob, who is Israel, for because of the Father's blessing upon him. And so God called their borders the borders of wickedness. And he said, there shall not remain in my land, there shall not be one Edomite remaining in my land. And how would this would happen? By the sword, by famine, by pestilence. We would see these things take place right before our very eyes, and we would not understand that the Word of God is being fulfilled, because we listen to men, we make up all kinds of stories, but we would not go to the Word of God, which makes things very clear. God said they would go back to think to build the waste places, but whenever they try to build, I would destroy, because they are wicked and evil people, and that their hatred for the brother Jacob was a perpetual hatred and wickedness. And so it was in Amos chapter 1. God spoke of some incidents that took place where Gaza went into the land of Israel and did take captive some of the people of Israel, and plundered and looted the place and what have you, all manner of evil. And God said that they did this on behalf of the children of Edom, on behalf of the Edomites. And you can read Amos chapter 1, the sins of Gaza, the sins of Tyre, the sins of Edom. He said all of it was done because of Edom, because of the children of Esau. And in verse 11 of Amos chapter, God said they kept their anger perpetually, meaning it's a perpetual hatred that they have for Jacob, that he has for his brother Jacob, to see the destruction of Jacob. And so Obadiah, you go as well to the book of Obadiah chapter 1, verse 6 says, how are the things of Esau searched out? God would make open and make plain the mystery and the wickedness of the children of Esau. And what we know, bringing it back up to history, because this started way back, even from the days of Balaam, and many of us would know the story and the account of Balaam the son of Beor, who attempted to curse the children of Israel. And he said, whosoever shall bless them shall be blessed, and whosoever shall curse them shall be cursed. And so in his attempt to curse the children of Israel, he was saying these words. And when Israel inherited the land, even the land of Canaan, Balaam was killed with the edge of the sword. But note this, Balaam the son of Beor, but Beor had another son, Bela, the son of Beor, who ruled in Edom. So you do the math, I'm not getting into details. But the son of Beor ruled as king in Edom. It tells us something. And so it was back then, and we're bringing it up to now in this present time. He said, not one of the children of Esau, the Edomites, shall remain in my land. And so it was. The children of Esau, the Edomites, they lived in what we know today to be modern-day Jordan. The Moabites, the Ammonites, and the Edomites, they lived in Jordan. And so the Edomites had a burning desire to destroy the children of Jacob, as I've said, and you can read it in the book over and over again. There was many wars between them, and so they lived in Jordan. And in 1947-48, when they realized Israel was about to receive part of their inheritance, even part of the land of Canaan, which God had promised to them time and time again. And they flooded the land of Israel in 1947-1948 because the word of God must be fulfilled. God said, I will bring my people, and who have seen it, who have heard these things. Shall a nation be born in one day? Yet Israel shall be born in one day. My people, the children of Israel. And that was the fulfillment in 1948. The word of God, when he said, I would bring them from all over and plant them in their own land, and I would be their God. It was fulfilled in 1948. But in 47-48, the children of Esau, the Edomites from Jordan, came from Jordan and flooded the land of Israel. And they were planted there as tares among the wheat. And we know the account of that. And so the children of Edom, the Edomites, wanted to build a nation. Remember, God said whenever they build, he would destroy. And they fought against the Moabites and the Ammonites in Jordan to take hold of that nation, so that nation could be one fighting force to go and destroy the children of Jacob. But they failed after many lives were lost and many atrocities in the land. The prime minister died, and there was a great uprising in the land that they might conquer the whole land to go and destroy Jacob. But they were cast out. And in 1970, 1971, they were sent away out of the land of Jordan, and they went as refugees in Lebanon. And there rose, and there we get Yasser Arafat. We know Yasser Arafat, the head of the PLO, the Palestinian Labor Organization. Well, he came from Jordan. And many of them came from Jordan, and they flooded the land of Lebanon. And Lebanon was by and large a Christian nation. But as soon as they got into that land, they began to do this great mysterious work and stir up all those with like-minded ideas in the land, that they might build one nation to go over and fight against the children of Jacob and to destroy the children of Jacob, that they might retain or claim the Father's blessing that is upon Jacob. And they went in 1978, they caused Israel to get into that civil war that they were raging in Lebanon, because in 1978 they left Lebanon and went over to Israel and committed a great massacre. Children and teachers and parents who were on their way to an outing that day on the road to Tel Aviv, the highway to Tel Aviv, they will go on an outing. And they stopped that bus and they massacred many people on the bus. And that is known as the massacre on the road to Tel Aviv, the Coastal Road Massacre. And 13 children lay unalive that day, and many parents and many were wounded. And it caused Israel to go after this organization in Lebanon. And that civil war raged from the 70, 71, 72 right until 1990. So I'm speaking basically present-day history. And they did not relent their determination to destroy the seed of God, which is Jacob, who God changed his name to Israel. They were determined to destroy them. But God said, in their hatred and in their determination to destroy the children of Jacob, they would be destroyed by the sword, by famine, and by pestilence. The word of God must be fulfilled, and the nations of the earth has become obsessed and possessed with the spirit of Esau. the spirit of Edom, which is to destroy the seed of God in the earth. They have marketed and sold this. And God is watching all the time, because he said, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? So God would intervene at the appointed time, because the land of Israel was changed to Palestine. Palestine is Israel and Israel is Palestine. But the Palestinians came from Jordan. They are the children of Esau. And so the conflict rages on. But when they would gather all the nations together to fight against Jacob, to fight against the seed of God, God would intervene. The nations of the earth is about to go into perdition to destroy the seed of God, but God would destroy the nation. He took them out of Egypt and brought them into the land of Canaan. He said, I would go down with you and I would bring you out to this land, the land of Canaan. Nobody knows where is the land of Canaan today. Who had changed the name of Canaan? The capital of Israel was Samaria. Again, the name has been changed to the West Bank. How could Israel be occupiers in their own land, the land which God had given to them, the land that was their capital, Samaria, whose name was changed to the West Bank, was the capital of Israel. And I would show you a thing where the flag that we know to be the Palestinian flag is the same flag of Jordan. The Palestinians came from Jordan. They are the children of Esau, the Edomites that flooded the land of Israel and that was planted. Nobody uproots the tares. But God said in the end, at the time of harvest, I would gather up the tares, let them grow together, let them be there in what? Until the time of harvest. Then would I gather up the tares and cast them out and burn the tares. This is not me. I'm not saying things because I like to say it. I am neither for or against anyone, but the word of God is clear on this matter. The world have a different opinion, but before you judge and give an account, go to the word of God, because it must be fulfilled. No one could strong arm, no one could bully, no one can fight and prevail against God. So many nations would be destroyed. 2026 is coming. It's not a normal year. It's a time when the house of the rising sun would rise up. The nations would rise up against God and against his anointed to destroy it. But God said he is gathering them. They think they are going to destroy the nation of Jacob's children, but he said he will gather all of them and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of decision, and there he would plead with them with fire and brimstone. Then would the nations know that there is a God of above, and he that keepeth Israel neither slumbers nor sleep. Many nations would be destroyed, and there would be many conflict amongst them. All they that agreed, and once there would be conflict, there would be confusion and there would be war. But God would judge the nations of the earth because of what they are doing and the things that they are set to do, because from 26 to 33 did mark the last 7 years of Christ. And Daniel leaves out the last 7 years, and then he gave a 69-year prophecy. The last 7 years, that work of Christ must be raised from the earth. Watch and pray, I'll be speaking more about this. The 7 years have been raised in the last 7 years of Christ's life, when he made an atonement for sin, Daniel said, and he brought in everlasting righteousness and all of that. That was the 70th week. And then he gave the 69th week prophecy, leaving out that 7. That 7-year period must be raised. There is a thing that is called reverse engineering, and the world, the nation of the earth, is seeking to reverse engineer that last 7 years. But people watch and pray. Christ would return, he would deliver his people, and he would judge the nations of the earth. We are in a serious and critical time. Good evening and God bless you. If you don't know Christ, get to know Him. He's coming again and He's the only way, the truth, He's the life. No man goes to heaven without Him. Good evening and God bless you.